In this session, let us look at another important concept, the checked versus unchecked exceptions. The checked exceptions are the ones which are getting verified at compile time. When you write the code, when the code is getting compiled, these checked exceptions are getting checked. For example, let us create an object of a file input stream, something like this, and we need to import it. So let me import it from java.io. But even though we have imported it, we still see some compilation error over here. Importantly, if you see the error, it says unhandled exception type. So there is an exception which is checked at the compile time by the compiler, and compiler is asking us to handle it. Now there are two ways to handle the exception, which we'll see it in the next session. But to understand the concept is, these exceptions, the checked exceptions, are the ones which we will have to handle. It is mandatory for us to handle them in the code somehow by using the throws declaration or try catch. So the compiler will always check for them. It is called as checked exceptions. We will not be able to go ahead without handling these type of exceptions. That's the first category, as simple as that. Now coming to the second category, this is called as unchecked exceptions. These are not checked by the compiler. These exceptions most often occur due to wrong input type of data provided, like for example arithmetic exception or array index out of boundaries or string index out of boundaries, etc. So these exceptions, which will usually not occur if the programmer has already taken care of the input conditions. So these are not the checked exceptions. The compiler will not check for these because their occurring or not occurring will depend upon, most of the time, on the input data. Like for example, if you do something like 100 divided by 0, in this case we have two integers, 1 and 2, and second integer is 0 in this case, and when you run, you are getting an exception, yes, but the compiler has not caught it. Like in the previous case, we got the compilation error. In this case, compiler did not catch this exception, and that's what we call it as unchecked exceptions or runtime exceptions. All the unchecked exceptions basically are the subclasses of runtime exceptions. Okay, so two categories. Checked exceptions are the ones which are always checked at the compile time, and the unchecked exceptions are the ones which are checked at the runtime. They are not checked by the compiler. Okay, in the next session we'll see how we can handle the exceptions. Now we can handle both checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions in the code, but as a standard practice it is suggested that we should only handle the checked exceptions. Unchecked exceptions are the ones which should be thrown and let the program get terminated. This is according to the people who developed Java, but we will see handling both of them by using the throws declaration or by using the